Hey everyone, John from Nintendo Life here, and Splatoon, this Wii U game, is about to become a trilogy, which doesn't feel right. It feels like this just came out. But yeah, Splatoon 3 is coming out this year. And one thing I really want to see is the rebirth, the reintroduction, the resurgence of some content from this game. Contrary to popular belief, Splatoon 2 does not contain Splatoon 1. It is not a port of Splatoon 1. There's a bunch of content still stuck on Wii U, and I really want to see some of it come back in Splatoon 3. So without further ado, here is some of the stuff Splatoon 2 does not have, that hopefully Splatoon 3 will. Urchin Underpass was like the Splatoon map. This map was our very first look at the entire franchise when it got revealed at E3 2014. I remember playing it too at a Nintendo event back when I had a very small YouTube channel of my own. Getting my hands on a Splatoon for the very first time and playing on this map, it suddenly made sense. This is Splatoon. And so of course, Nintendo used this map to represent Splatoon in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe's battle mode. What other map would it be? So John, what are you getting at? Well, Urchin Underpass isn't in Splatoon 2. There's kind of a narrative going around that Splatoon 2 includes all the Splatoon 1 stuff apart from the campaign, and that's not true at all. Splatoon 1 had 16 maps, and 7 of them aren't in Splatoon 2. That's almost half of them exclusively still on Wii U. And it's not the only stuff that Splatoon 1 has and Splatoon 2 doesn't. I mean, I couldn't get Urchin Underpass in the map rotation, so what I did was I played the local mode. And if you're only a Splatoon 2 player, you might be saying, local mode? I've never heard of local. Well, yeah, this is it. This is a 1v1 game where one person plays on the gamepad and the other person plays on the TV. You didn't play traditional turf war or rank matches, but instead you go around playing a brand new mode where you hunt balloons. There's little twists here too, like item crates that give you random items, kinda like Mario Kart. It's not that fleshed out, but it is really cool that this is an option, especially because Splatoon 2 has 0 local modes at all. There's definitely some limitations. The game only launched with 5 maps, and this mode was never updated. It's like it's May 2015 again. And while the person on the gamepad has gyro, the person on the TV is stuck with either a classic controller or a pro controller, neither of which have motion. But then they introduced this. Yeah, this is an official method. You can tie a Wii remote around the controller, and suddenly, you've got gyro on the TV. Sure. Now clearly if they did this again, it would have to be split screen rather than one person on the gamepad and one person on the TV, because the Switch doesn't have 2 screens. But I mean, I'd rather do that than not have this at all. It was definitely a downgrade to lose local multiplayer, and for what it was good. But let's go back to the maps a second, because it wasn't just Urchin Underpass, there's 6 others, and another one of them was also a launch map too. Salt Spray Rig. There was this incredible verticality. You can go up and ride these conveyor belts to fight in this big square in the middle, or go down and fight in this little one over here. A lot of Splatoon maps are sort of vertically mirrored, but this one was done horizontally. It was a very different take and resulted in some fantastic matches. Easily one of Splatoon's best. And after that is Bluefin Depot. This is a regular mirrored map, and basically you start off on these walled structures, and then there's this big old open area right in the middle. It was great for rank modes like tower control, because getting back into the middle could be a huge frenzy with so much going on. But there's also a nice bit of verticality. Getting into the enemy's territory is like climbing a fort wall, and that's where everyone comes from to kill you. It's definitely a map I missed in Splatoon 2. But boy oh boy, it's Flounder Heights! Flounder Heights was great. You start off on this rather flat surface, but right in the middle are these apartment complexes that form this kind of bridge between the 2 layers. So there's 2 layers of verticality. You can climb all the way to the top, or on the first layer there's a little gap in the middle you can slide through as well. It just felt like you were constantly climbing up this wall, and finding a place to be comfortable is pretty tough. You're always moving, always adapting, and this housed some of my favourite matches in all of Splatoon 1. Really miss this one. And Splatoon 2 also lacks Hammerhead Bridge. So this is a very forward-facing map. It's basically one straight path, apart from there's 2 layers. There's the bridge, and there's the floor. You can make your way across the bridge to get some verticality, but you're pretty exposed doing that, especially because in many instances you can't hide. It's just regular grating. So managing between the bottom and the top is pretty tough. So it's a manic map. You're always looking on both layers to see what dangers are coming at you. Maybe you're on the floor shooting at someone, but up above, there's another person shooting at you. You've got to be aware of that. It's pretty simple, but there's some elegance in that. It's definitely one I want to see return. Now this one is very interesting because it's already in Splatoon 3, Museum d'Alfonso. If you don't remember, it's a pretty level map, apart from there's a bunch of rotating pillars everywhere. There's some right by the spawn, there's some in the middle, so you can make your way on the bottom layer if you want to, Or you can try and hop around and try and match the rotation speeds of all the pillars going round. That's where the verticality comes from. And yeah, we already know it's coming back. This is the one confirmed map coming back to Splatoon 3. Hopefully all of them do, but at least this sets a precedent that maps are returning. And in fact, we kinda knew about that way beforehand because Nintendo advertised this job in which you design remade maps, so yeah, we knew more were coming. And so our final map that isn't in Splatoon 2 but hopefully is in Splatoon 3 is Mahi-Mahi Resort. Now this actually has a very interesting gimmick in which the water level changes as you play. Basically there's a bunch of different platforms submerged in water, and as the match goes on, some of these get submerged and others are free from their water prison. So at certain points there are shortcuts available, and in others there aren't. It's a really dynamic map, and there aren't really others like this in Splatoon, which makes this one really missed. There's nothing else like this, not even close. It may not be everyone's favourite, but it's certainly distinct and makes a bunch of ranked games very, very tense. But yeah, those are the 7 Splatoon 1 maps that aren't in Splatoon 2, and so far, we know at least one of them is coming to Splatoon 3. But you know what else Splatoon 2 didn't have? Squid Jump. So in Splatoon 1, while you waited for a game to start, you could play a minigame on the gamepad. There was actually a few minigames you could unlock. There was Squid Jump, Squid Racer, Squid Ball, and Squid Beats. But everyone had Squid Jump right from the get-go. It's a very simple vertical platformer, but it gave you something to do while you waited to find players. Whereas in Splatoon 2, I mean, I guess you can adjust the music a little bit? This isn't the same. I would say it's an ingenious use of the gamepad, but there's no reason for this to be on the gamepad. Why not have Squid Jump just on the TV? It's something I really want to see come back in Splatoon 3. Maybe not Squid Jump specifically, but just mini-games while you're waiting to find players. It's just something to do in the downtime. Splatoon 1 definitely still has value on its own. I mean, the story mode on its own isn't going anywhere, but also the special abilities give this game its own flavour too. Abilities like the Kraken were so overpowered, and I don't really want them to return because they were scary. I think each game having its own distinct special ability gives it some kind of distinct flavour. But Splatoon 1 definitely has a lot Splatoon 2 doesn't, and hopefully Splatoon 3 can bring some of it back to life. Okay, so is there any other Splatoon 1 stuff you want to see in Splatoon 3 that wasn't in Splatoon 2? And I guess to get broader, do you expect all the Splatoon 2 stuff to come back to Splatoon 3? Or is it going to be like a little pick and mix from all the games? A bit of 1, a bit of 2, or maybe a big collection of everything? Splatoon Ultimate. Will that be what it is? Let us know your expectations in the comments below, and of course, go that subscribe button and quick, get your gamepad! Get your Squid Jump! Got a Squid Jump before they get you! Ah! You got splattered. I need a haircut. We'll see you next time. Bye everyone!